Welcome to Brew Crime, where we drink brews and talk about crime, conspiracy, or whatever catches our attention. I'm JT, and I'm here with
Bob the Builder.
Bob. Bob, it's nice to see you. You're not wearing bright blue and yellow.
No, yes. I had
And
to, I
I'm
had to
glad.
change my name because I'm going to prison, right?
Very true. It's very true.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's I'm glad you're not wearing your hard hat right now because that means you're not at work.
True. Yes,
Oh,
it's Mike.
you'll always be my Bob the Builder, Mike.
Mike the building it wrong guy. Not me that builds it wrong. Everyone else
Right?
that builds it wrong. No.
It's the Mike, you're building it wrong guy.
Damn it. Yes.
Damn it. It's a great child's show. It's like right on the
Exactly.
cusp, 8 to 10 years old. So they end up not being smacked in the face with real life, but are introduced to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How's it going, sir?
Oh, not too bad.
Oh God. Oh man. I'm excited to be back, and I'm excited to listen to your story.
That is good to hear. So we are moving on from Crimes of the Northwest Territories, which
Yes.
was fun. Some horrible crime in a mine, and then a mad trapper.
Yes. I mean,
But
if you got to have crimes in the Northwest Territory, they might as well be like Tim the Toolman crimes. That's what those two sounded like, for the most part.
yeah, exactly.
You know.
Oh, geez. Well, we're moving somewhere very different now.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Oh my. So the theme is murdered in prison.
Yes. Past tense. Probably for the best. Better than murdering in prison.
True, and that's why I was changing my name for prison.
Well, listen, y'all don't know where I broadcast from. So
Yes.
this is my prison.
Exactly. I got white walls. It could be a prison. I don't know.
I'm,
There's a shelving
I'm,
unit though.
I'm here for hours at a time, and they don't let me out but for a couple hours at night.
It's
So,
true. And I mean that calendar is not Rita Hayworth, but
right. But you don't want to see the hole that's in the wall. So
yeah, exactly. It's a very small hole though. Probably a pinhole that's holding up the calendar.
there are so many things I could say to that, but I think we should just be talking about being murdered in prison.
All right. The title of my case is Hate Attracts Hate, Death Follows.
Damn.
Damn,
Right.
Bobby.
Hang it, Bobby.
So I've used this beer in the past as a pairing,
Mm-hmm.
but every year they do multiple versions of this beer in collaboration with different breweries and different adjuncts added to it. So even though I've done this beer before, I really haven't because it's different.
It's different.
So this is from Collective Arts Brewing in Ontario. The beer is called Origin of Darkness.
You have to say that middle. Come on now.
Yeah. So every version of it, and they do like I think 5 or 6 every year. Every one is done with a different collaborative brewery. So this was done with Burial Beer Co. Burial Beer Co. Looks like it's from Asheville, North Carolina.
Holy crap, that's right around the corner.
And they do. I've seen collaborations with breweries in Scandinavia, all over the place.
Asheville's
this
a cool place.
It's supposed to be a cool place, and it's a really cool like beer place too.
Yes, it is.
This is a 10.7% alcohol imperial stout.
All right.
And this version has Madeira whiskey barrel aged imperial stout with pecans and coffee.
That screams Asheville.
So it is jet black with a nice small brown head.
Mike is drinking a black hole.
Yes. And it really literally it smells like pecans. It's just like super nutty.
Yeah.
It's like super sweet, like treacle and caramel. Not too much on the nose that would scream coffee, but definitely whiskey and almost creamy.
Yeah, that's a beer for me and my dad.
Oh man, this is super thick. Like it's got body. Everyone says like, "Oh, Guinness is so thick."
No,
Guinness
it's
is
not.
thin as shit. It's
Yes, it
not.
is.
This
Maybe it is
is
in Ireland, but not here.
no, it's not.
Okay.
It's a 4 or 5, 4.5, 5% beer. Like it can't be
Right.
that thick. The nitrogen makes it feel kind of like it has a bit of a body,
But it's
but this is actually thick, like almost like syrup. Like it's
God.
thick.
Yeah. It's that 10%.
Yeah, and yeah, it tastes like a little bit of whiskey, and it tastes like caramel and treacle and brown sugar and nutty like pecans. It's definitely sweet. There's almost a note of like cherry almost. I don't know.
Hmm.
This is good,
Yeah.
and be very careful because it will murder you.
Well, it'll put you in the origin of darkness. Um
Exactly.
so wow.
Speaking of Origin of Darkness. All right. Earl Leslie Krugel was born on November 24th, 1942 in Detroit, Michigan.
Gesundheit. Earl Leslie Krugel.
Yep.
Ow, what a name.
Yeah.
Oh,
To parents Murray and Esther Krugel. I have no information about his childhood at all. It was really hard to find information about him other than once he was, already in a career and
sure.
getting on with all the horrible things that happen here. I do know that he would end up being a dental technician in California.
Oh God. No.
So
He did the Mad Trapper's teeth.
yes, when he was minus like what, -9?
I don't know if you said the year. Did you say the year?
1942.
Okay. Then yes. Just like the temperature up in up in Aklavik.
No, that's -50.
Yeah, okay, well, give or take.
And what is it? Minus 42 is the same in Fahrenheit and Celsius, I think.
Yes, and it was an international crime.
Yeah. So Earl would also be married to Lola Krugel. No information about her at all other than her name. Now, with Earl being a dental technician, you would expect the guy to be a little more laid back, maybe like professional something,
At least after the laughing gas.
Yeah, right. But this is not the case for him.
Okay.
Earl was a member of the Jewish Defense League. Ever heard of them?
Maybe. I just know that anything that involves defense and league is not usually passive.
Yes. No, I actually had not heard about them. So let's get into this. For people that did not know, just like me, the Jewish Defense League, or JDL, is a far-right Jewish political group in the US and Canada.
Great.
Yeah. Well, they do not seem to be very active today. They were classified as a far-right terrorist group by the FBI in 2001 and are designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Center.
Yep.
The group was an anti-Muslim group and pushed for the destruction of Palestine, among other things. Yeah.
My God.
I'm gonna have another sip of beer.
Yes, I think that does indeed fit.
They also claim to be fighting against anti-Semitism. So to say that Earl was not a nice guy is pretty well laid out here. I mean, yeah, I don't understand how you can go through all of the historical things against Jewish people and become a far-right terrorist against people. Like, you think you'd learn that it's bad.
For the same reason people go through high school history and end up being Holocaust deniers.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Like,
fucking nuts.
Damn Dilbert comic artist.
Yes. Go listen to Behind the Bastards on the Dilbert creator. Yes.
Please.
So he would make some seriously terrible decisions that would lead him to head to prison. Earl Krugel, with the help of JDL leader Irving Rubin, known as Irv, were planning on building multiple bombs with some very specific targets in mind. And I didn't write this, but Irv was actually born in Canada, I think in Quebec, before moving to the States.
Oh, you exported something evil to us this time?
Exactly right.
Man,
We sent you a terrorist.
usually it's the other way around. And if it's not a
Yeah.
person, it's ideologies.
It's
You're
ideology for sure. Yeah. And far right, too.
Yep.
They decided to enlist a younger man, Danny Gillis, into the JDL with the plan that they would be part of the bombing conspiracy. So the plan started out pretty loose with a plan to bomb a Muslim political and religious institution in the state of California.
All right.
On October 19th, 2001, the three men would have a meeting to discuss targets. One target that was discussed was the Muslim Public Affairs Council, or MPAC. He would be told that he was to find the headquarters for MPAC in the city of Los Angeles and take photos to scout the location. And this was Danny. Earl and Irv would now ask that Danny order the parts for the bomb, including pipes, end caps, detonators, as well as gunpowder. And this was a very specific gunpowder that could be tracked.
Oh, okay. Great job. So this is starting to sound a lot like that one case that I had where the fella up in Canada decided to get other people to do everything for him regarding the bomb.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Danny would realize that this was a seriously bad scene, and he would reach out to the FBI and would become an informant. He definitely did the right thing. Also, as you should always report suspected terrorism. Always.
That's a good tip. Yep. Not
but
sometimes.
Also
always.
Don't racial profile like a fucking bigot, because just because they're a person of color, they're not a fucking terrorist. Also,
right. Well, and you wish you didn't have to make that distinction. However, you do. At this
much
point.
like these JDL idiots, yes, you have to make that distinction.
Yep.
You know, Muslims are not terrorists. There are some Muslims that are terrorists, just like Christians aren't terrorists, but there sure as shit is some fucking terrorists that are Christian.
I would argue that there's probably more Christian terrorists than Muslim terrorists.
Yeah, and currently they're part of the Republican Party.
I can't argue with it. I just can't. I got no arguments.
Yep.
They kicked Marjorie Taylor Greene out because she was too mainstream. That tells you a lot.
Wait a minute, really?
The Freedom Caucus kicked Marjorie Taylor Greene out because they said, and I quote, "She is too mainstream."
And she is fucked.
She is batty.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So that tells you where Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert reside. Mm-hmm. Yay.
I thought Marjorie was actually crazier than Boebert, but I guess not. The planning sessions would continue through October and November, but now with Danny as an informant for the authorities. So he was just giving all the shit up.
Right.
So all of these future meetings, Danny would be wired.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Yeah. So the feds were getting everything.
Oh, for sure.
The informant would tell the FBI that Earl said Arabs needed a wake-up call and the JDL needed to do something to one of their filthy mosques. His words, not mine.
Right.
Just lay that out again.
Right.
Don't you dare isolate that.
This was in quotations.
Yes.
And it does not have the name Mike underneath that quote. So,
yes. While the bomb parts were purchased and stored at Earl's house, things would not get much further than this, luckily. They would pick two targets for the bombs they planned to make, though. Those targets would be King Fahd Mosque in Culver City and the Republican Congressman Darrell Issa's office in Sherman Oaks. Seeing as Darrell Issa is not a Muslim and is Christian, I'm not 100% sure why he was a target. He was, I forget what, I didn't write down where he was from here. But yeah, definitely not a Muslim, so I don't really understand. And he was a Republican, so...
I wonder. I mean... Okay, so let's go back to January 6th where they were screaming "Hang Mike Pence," and he did like Pence did something they didn't like. So my
True.
guess is he had a hand or signed his name to something that was uh, something they didn't like, and so this
Yeah,
was to prove a point or teach a lesson.
could be. Yeah.
I don't like the fact that I thought about that quickly.
Or they
Oh,
just thought he was Muslim because he wasn't white.
that's way more than likely the case. Way more than likely.
Yeah. At the last meeting for Earl and Irv, the Los Angeles Joint Terrorism Task Force would arrest the two men. The younger informant has had his identity protected as he was spared charges as he was helping the FBI arrest the two. So
Okay.
he got off on the what do they call that again? Where you make a deal.
I mean, yeah, it was a
The hell's I'm
it
going
wasn't
blank.
like a plea deal.
I think
Um,
almost a plea deal because he was involved with the planning here, but
yeah,
because
I
he
mean,
gave up the two people that actually wanted it done.
well, and I guarantee you that him testifying was part of
Yeah.
it.
And he gave up one of them. Irv was the leader of the JDL too.
Okay.
So yeah. So on top of the fact that they found all the bomb parts, they found a bunch of guns. So
Okay.
they were 100% ready for violence.
Just David Koreshing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So they would be charged with conspiracy in late 2001. While in holding, waiting for the trial on November 13th, 2002, Irv would slit his wrists and fall from a second level in the prison.
Jesus.
Now, there were conspiracy theories about this saying that,
Yeah.
he committed suicide, yada, yada, yada. But he knew he was fucked and didn't want to rot in prison.
Right. Oh, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
like this guy was going to rot in prison.
They don't prosecute cases like this unless they have everything they need.
Yes. So Earl would end up in court and would plead down to charges of conspiracy to violate civil rights, weapons charges, and conspiring to bomb the King Fahd Mosque in Culver City, Los Angeles, and field office of the Republican Congressman Darrell Issa. Part of the plea deal stated that Earl would have to give up the names of JDL terrorists that blew up Alex Odeh's office, a Palestinian activist in California in 1985.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he would drag his feet for months, and his plea deal would be torn or thrown out.
Oh, torn up, burned up, and then
Yeah,
scattered amongst the free people.
right. To this day, no one has been charged with the murder of Alex Odeh.
Wow.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Odeh, Odeh, I think.
Yeah, probably.
So the judge would toss the book at him with a 20-year prison sentence, the maximum allowed for this charge. Earl would try to tell the court that he was sorry for his involvement and make excuses, but the judge was having none of it and was quoted as saying he did not believe him and that he was, quote, promoting hatred in the most vile way, unquote.
That is my favorite judge. Judge none of it.
Yeah. Yes, this is definitely not one of the current judges that run the Supreme Court in the United States.
Oh, are you kidding me? He would have been pardoned.
Yeah, probably. Earl Krugel would start his incarceration in protective custody for some reason or other, but things would change and he would be moved to a prison in Phoenix, Arizona on November 1st, 2005.
It wasn't Maricopa, was it?
I don't remember what prison he was in.
Maricopa's in the Phoenix area.
Things would go okay from the sounds of it until 3 days later on November 4th. This day would be the last day for Earl. He would be working out in the yard between 4 and 6 p.m. when David Frank Jennings, a 30-year-old, would approach from behind. David would have a piece of concrete or brick inside a bag, and he would begin to strike Earl in the head over and over again. This is a quote from the Jewish Journal. His main injury was the initial blow to the back of the head, which crushed the left side of his skull and severely damaged his brain and his brainstem. But his attacker also delivered multiple blows to Krugel's skull, face, and neck, according to the autopsy, which was performed by the Maricopa County medical examiner and obtained by the Journal. Krugel suffered multiple skull fractures, internal bleeding, and multiple lacerations to his head, face, and brain. The beating knocked out teeth and also fractured one of his eye sockets. Krugel was pronounced dead at the scene.
Wow.
Unquote. Yes.
Number one, that's terrible. And number two, I forgot that what he did was a federal crime. Thereby, he was in federal prison, not in
Yes.
jail. So
There you
that
go. Yeah.
that.
Yes. But it wasn't a maximum security. This was a medium security prison still. I'll get into it.
Yeah, please.
So there is no doubt from this horrific beating that Earl was dead.
Yeah.
Now, it would take a long time for the suspect to be named and charges be laid. Some would claim that it was racism, but it came down to one thing. The perpetrator was a felon in prison already, and they had wanted to get it right, and they didn't have to worry about him fleeing because he was inside a fucking prison.
Right. Can't go anywhere.
No.
Sorry.
So David Frank Jennings was a 30-year-old at the time of the murder and was a small-time repeat offender that ended up in the same prison as Earl Krugel.
Because it was medium security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in prison this time for bank robbery in Las Vegas. He also happened to be a member of the Aryan Brotherhood, an acolyte, and a white supremacist gang in prison. So
I'm going to say that contributed to him not liking this guy.
Maybe, but it was 3 days.
Well, news travels fast, though, in prison.
True.
So, yeah. And I bet you this was on TV.
It could have been. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
America. It wasn't Florida, so I don't know.
America.
So this is a quote from LA Weekly. So this is a quote from LA Weekly about the Aryan Brotherhood in prisons. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, its members comprise less than 0.1% of the nation's prison population, but commit 18% of all prison murders. The Brotherhood is primarily a crime syndicate that runs prison drug trafficking and prison prostitution, but it carries a nasty racist overlay, obviously. Jennings was originally to be placed in a high security prison, but he had a drug abuse issue, and only minimum and medium security prisons had these programs. So he was able to be moved to that level.
Drugs gonna kill you one way or another. I think this just proves it. Oh, God.
So David Frank Jennings' trial for the murder would start on July 21st, 2009. But a surprise to many, the court proceedings were closed to the press and the public. Well, almost like a Canadian trial.
Yeah, I think it also has to do with whatever happened in that trial. They didn't want people to misinterpret or cause a mass issue.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
This was also a grand jury trial, not a jury trial. So Jennings' membership in the Aryan Brotherhood would come up in the trial, as prison rules require all members to be in high security prisons because of the propensity for horrible violence.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, David Frank Jennings was sentenced to 35 years in prison for this murder. I'm actually surprised it wasn't more. I think they're a death penalty state, aren't they?
What, Arizona?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so I'm surprised. So extremism is bad no matter what it is.
Yeah.
One was a neo-Nazi who murdered one man. The other was a terrorist that planned on bombing a mosque full of innocent people and a congressman. Don't be a bigot. Don't be a fascist. Human decency should win over hate. Don't let hate win, period.
Usually I have something to say after anything, but nope, that's it. Period.
Yeah, right?
Full stop. End of sentence. End of show. That's it.
Yeah.
We've said what we came to say.
Earl Krugel shouldn't be murdered.
No.
But don't be a terrorist. Don't be a fucking far-right fascist.
Honestly.
Don't let hate win.
I would have absolutely loved to have him in prison for a very long time where he couldn't control shit.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I mean, there was all kinds of people that were going on about how, he was just, fighting for, the rights of Jewish people and stuff. No, he wasn't. He's a fucking terrorist.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't blow a bomb up, but if you're going to blow up people without them doing anything wrong, you're a terrorist. Period.
Right, and
full stop.
the Proud Boys were fighting for the rights of white people. This is not what happens. Like,
No,
no.
this is
No.
extremism. This is fascism. Like this is all the things that have hurt Jewish people
Yep.
through history. And now you're going to do it to other people? No. Let's
Not
get
how
above
it
this
works.
bullshit.
Oh,
You
it'd be
know?
nice if people adulted correctly, but
Unfortunately, instead of like making the world better, people are all seem to be going further right, which is the absolute worst thing because we fought a war about this and we proved that the fascists sucked and we killed them. And maybe that should have been the end of fascism. And now the countries that were part of the Allies, a lot of them are becoming fascists. It's like,
I would
fuck.
like to say that those who do not understand history are doomed to repeat it. And
Yes.
those people will never understand history because they're constantly trying to change the classroom and they're trying to
Yes.
teach what they want to teach or want people to learn.
And
And that will just be a vicious circle. And
yes.
here we are.
Those that aren't educated on history should not be in politics either.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There should
Yeah.
be some level of understanding there. There really should be a test.
Yeah. Do you want to be a politician? No. Okay, you can be one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not that test. Not that test. But yeah, there really should be something. I mean, you got to take a test to get into a college. Why wouldn't you have to take one to become president of the United States?
Yeah.
You better understand some semblance of government. I guarantee you a lot of our issues would be away because they wouldn't have been president because of the test.
Yep.
Especially since at that point, daddy couldn't pay their way. So
Yes.
I calls them like he sees them.
Exactly. So thanks for tuning into Brew Crime. You can find us on all social media platforms at Brew Crime, including that friggin' Threads thing that's out there now. We have a Facebook group at Brew Crime the Group. If you'd like to support the show, head to patreon.com/brewcrime now. Money goes towards upgrading equipment and making the show that much better. You get one bonus episode a month, as well as early ad-free access to our episodes. So shout out to Patreon supporters, True Crime Nana, Three Beers in Podcast, and the faves of our lives. Peace.
Don't be a terrorist.
Don't be a fascist. Don't be a far-right fanatic. Don't be a Proud Boy.
Love people.
Yes, let's get back to love, not hate, motherfuckers.
Won't you be my neighbor?
All cases in Brew Crime are written by Mike and JT or a writer we credit on the episode, and sources are put into our show notes for each episode. We always want to give credit to the people that research the cases we talk about. Check out our store at tpublic.com/stores/brew-crime-podcast, where you can purchase gear like t-shirts, phone cases, stickers, pillows, and all kinds of other cool stuff. Brew Crime's intro was created by Mike using Creative Commons Attribution licensed audio from purple-planet.com, soundbible.com, and freesoundeffects.com. Logo designed by Ben Greenberg. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brew Crime Podcast.
¡Bienvenidos a la cripta!
Hola, amor.
Hola, cariño.
Y bienvenidos a Uy, qué horror, a Latinx horror movie podcast with Johnny
And Eileen. En este espeluznante podcast, we explore the often overlooked world of Latinx horror films. Cada semana, we watch and discuss horror films from different countries in Latin America,
or with a Latinx director.
or starring a Latinx lead.
Si es de horror y Latinx, we're watching it.
Nuevos episodios every Monday.
Listen to Uy, qué horror on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're planning on what's his name again? You can't hear me? Hello. I'm getting sound on my side for sure. Let's all go to the lobby.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh God, now it's back. I don't know what happened. Okay, sorry.
No, where did you lose me?
I was so worried.
Did you hear about the bunch of guns found?
Nope. Probably
All
right
right.
before by a majority. That would have been more fun.
Yeah. True Crime Nana.